And okay, we are live, Blog Talk Radio, waiting for the countdown there. 5 seconds coming up. All right, well, Kafur, Akbar, everybody, welcome to another edition of the Cross and the Crescent discussion group. We are a show that is dedicated to rightly dividing the truth between Christianity and Islam, and we're here twice a week. We're here every Sunday afternoon at 2 p.m. Central Standard Time, and we are, of course, here today, every Tuesdays at 5 p.m. Central Standard Time. So shalom, peace, and blessings to everybody. I hope you're all having a great, blessed Holy Week. Good Friday is this Friday. We have church services this Thursday evening, Monday, Thursday. And then, of course, you have Friday service, and then you have a Sunday service. So it's always, this is always a kind of a blessed time of the year. I wanted to start off tonight. Today's topic is a tale of two cities. We're going to be talking about, of course, we'll be talking about Jerusalem and Mecca and the evidences for these two cities. But before we did that, I got a call last night. We didn't do the show today. I got a call last night and was told that my dad had passed away. And his neighbor found him. He was sitting in his chair, his computer chair there, doing what he loved. And they're not sure if he had a heart attack or what the deal was, but he was 80. He was on oxygen. He was tethered to that house. The quality of life was not all that great. I'm grateful that I did go out and see him last month for about a week, and I did speak to him on Friday. So, you don't want to have the regrets of not, reaching out to your parents when they pass away. Because I remember when my mom had passed away, it had been about a month that I had spoken to. It was actually her birthday. Her birthday was in early April, and she died in late May. But with this, I don't have any regrets. So I would ask that you pray for me, my family, and how we deal with this. I mean, anytime you lose a parent, you have to go forward and deal with them. Sounds like somebody's got a hot mic there. And take care of all those details.
Sorry.
Oh, go ahead. What's up, Darcy? Do you want to add something?
I was just saying, I'm sorry for your loss.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And I was saying earlier that you expect these things to happen because he was older and not in good health for quite a while, but you're never really able to accept it when it happens, and it is kind of tough. So we appreciate that. He lived a good life, and what is really edifying for me is that there was a time period, and I've shared this with Paul before, where him and we didn't speak for 12 years. After my mom and him had gotten a divorce, things were very bitter between him. He thought I had taken sides during the divorce, and was always confrontational. And every time I'd call, he would take my call, or he would always say things that were not anyway. So we just stopped talking, and then a couple years ago we patched things up, and I started to actually go out to Kafur stand west and started visiting him 2-3 times a year on the last couple of years. And it's just good that you settle these issues before they pass on. So
yeah.
All right, so what are we going to be talking about today? Today we're going to be talking about A Tale of Two Cities. I was in a clubhouse room this afternoon because I have no life again, and I think Dr. Kafur Phobia mentioned that Kenny was there, and he was babbling his mouth about a hadith, and and the guys were amazed because we started discussing his debate with David Wood, and you sit there and he evidently wants to have another debate with David. And he's actually emailed me because I have my trap set for him. You just you don't. How do you respond to something like that? I've had my trap set for you, Kafur Smith, for 2.5.
For Kenny, you just sit there and laugh because he doesn't know how much he doesn't know.
Yeah, and that's it. Yeah, and it's just he doesn't realize how big of an embarrassment he was, because when you do these debates, you tend to kind of you overlook your shortcomings, but when you get completely wiped out, I don't know
how you 5 minutes.
Right. And how do you reconcile that? I don't, you have to have some type of psychosis going on. I don't want to.
And then he cried during the debate too, on top of that.
About what? Was you?
No, who was it? Rad shared us pictures where he was crying, or somebody.
I don't know if he was crying to debate. If I was him, I would have been crying because he got.
I was him, I would have been crying too. But then I would never have taken the topic that he chose.
I don't understand why.
And he didn't defend it.
Right, because he was trying to just say, okay, well, all those hadiths are wrong, and my hadith where I have to put this little picture graph together like a flannel graph to come up with these dates is the right one. Forget all the history, forget all the beliefs of the majority of the Muslims worldwide. I'm right and they're wrong. But he took the debate. He took the debate because his ego. It's a popularity thing with him. He wanted to boost his popularity, and if what greater way to boost your popularity than engaging in a debate with David Wood? It's gonna boost your popularity. But
I think it's name recognition. Some people get into some things just because they think it's name recognition, and they don't understand that they are simply making fools of themselves. And that's where I think that his damage is done.
Yeah, I tend to agree with that. Okay. All right. So let's take a look at this tale of two cities that I'm going to be talking about today. And if you guys have anything to chime in with, please, by all means, post it in chat, come up on mic. I was reading over here. Okay, so let's go ahead and first let's just get some basic facts out of the way here. And I didn't prepare a PowerPoint because I was nugging this out, and I was just kind of putting my thoughts down on paper, and I didn't feel like converting over to PowerPoint. And I apologize, but I do have pictures, which is always kind of nice instead of listening to people talk. But when we look at cultures all across the globe, they're always interested in doing archaeology. And the reason why they're interested in doing archaeology is because they're always interested in their country or their culture's past. They always want to see what the roots of that culture was, and they always want to share and expound upon those roots. They want to, because it gives them a sense of credibility, not only on the world stage, but also in their own sense of personal edification, where they want to say, okay, well, my country has a culture, and this is the culture right here. And when you look at these cultures, they extend, it just isn't just the American culture. It's just not Western cultures, but it's Eastern cultures also. All of them want to dig up, or at least look and see what is underneath the dirt where people had lived before. So let's go ahead and take a look at, let's just begin with Rome or Italy today. This is a picture of the Roman Colosseum, built by the Jews, that were carried out of Israel, by the way. And it is still standing there today. This part right here in the middle, I don't know, can you guys see my arrow on the screen there? I don't know if you can or not. Can you see it moving? Anyway, this part right here.
No, I can't see it.
Okay, well, the part in the center is a series of subterranean tunnels and hallways. And where you look up here where they built the floor, okay, where you look up here where they built this floor, that's where the original floor was, and extended across there. And that's where they would, have if you watch the movie The Gladiator, where they're coming up out of the floor on an elevator type structure. And it's still there today. You can go there today and you can see that this goes back to 70 AD. There's other places in Rome itself where they've gotten down and they've dug up, and you have even the tile that was laid down at that time is still there. And you want to see what the type of art was in style at the time. And sometimes these tiles present stories that give you hints or clues to what was going on at the time. And then you have huge digs like this, and this is a amphitheater. It's not as big as the Colosseum, of course, but these were built all over Italy during this time, and the Roman Empire. There was one I was in Corinth, Greece, a number of years ago anyway, where they have an amphitheater, and they dig up and they find all kinds of things that are laying around, coins. They find pottery shards. So it gives you a clue to what the people did and believed at the time. You look at, of course, the most famous is the Egyptian artifacts, where they do archaeology. And the most famous ones for Egypt, of course, are the pyramids. And the pyramids, you can see on the outside, used to be this really tight protective layer on all of the pyramid. They were built with these mud bricks, but the outside of them, it was like glass. I don't want to say it was glass, but they were so tight, water could not permeate into these things. So they're absolutely massive structures, archaeological wonders, and they were buried for centuries. And recently they've come out and they've unearthed entire cities like this one in Egypt. Let me get up here and pull this down quicker. A place called Avaris. Here's Steve. Steve, welcome back to the show, Steve. So this is in Egypt. This is a whole city that was dug up, that the Egyptians are trying to look and see what the roots of the city are and what the origins are and what life was like, to give them an understanding of what their history is. And then you get down here to, okay, this just gives you an idea where it was. It's up here in the Nile Delta, this Avaris is. Then you have Greek. Of course, you have the Acropolis that sits high on Mars Hills here, and you have all kinds of archaeological digs that go on in the Acropolis itself and down below on Mars Hill and throughout the entire city. As a matter of fact, Greece has these cities all over the countryside where they've dug up ruins from 2,300, 2,400 years ago. And when they had the Olympics a couple years ago, they were digging up, doing so much building and construction. They were digging up graves. They were digging up pottery. They were digging up all kinds of this. I think this is an oil lamp of some sort with fine relief in it, coin. And so you see all rings. You see all these things, and it got to the point where they had to put they found so many artifacts that they ran out of room in the museums. and they had to start building displays in the subway stations. So as you're going through the subway stations and you're looking at, you're standing around, you could at least look at some of the past archaeological digs or things that they had dug up from 2,000, 2,500 years ago. So that was pretty interesting. So you have that in Greek culture. The Chinese even have had archaeological digs where they've dug up this very famous was it army of, I can't remember what this is called. Paul, do you remember?
Terracotta soldiers.
What do they call them?
Terracotta.
Terracotta. There you go. I couldn't remember exactly what. Yeah, terracotta soldiers. So you have all this being dug up, and certain relief into the sides of buildings that were carved up, and they want to know what's there. They keep digging up. Even down in South America, down in Peru, Mogi Picchu or whatever this is called, built high in the Andes Mountains.
Yeah.
There you go. My wife is going there here in about a month and a half or so. She's going to be traveling down there with her and a friend are going to go hiking. Who would want to go hiking in those mountains? They're steepest mountain ranges in the world. Are you crazy? That's the queen of the Kafiristan. Okay. And then Babylon, of course. I've been there. Look at this guy, all 150 pounds of him sitting around the mud brick there in Pano. Look at that. It was miserable hot. But this is some of the things that they have unearthed. Real quick backstory. This girl right here. Can you guys see where my mouse is? This girl right here. Okay, she was selling. I still have the pamphlets. She was selling pamphlets to the ancient city of Babylon. And I can't remember if he was selling them for $2 or I think it seems to me like they were $2. And she was selling them in different languages. They were in French, German, Italian,
she made a killing.
Chinese or whatever. And she's trying to sell me this thing. It was in Chinese. I was like, I can't read it. And she can't understand English. And then finally she brought one out. It was in English. So I gave her, I think it was $20. I gave her $20 for it. Wow. And she's just a poor girl, and her dad has her out there selling these things, and she's like, no, $2. I'm like, I'm giving you 20, and she goes, no. And finally, the dad comes over and wants to know what's going on, and he sees I said, I just want to give this as a gift, to you and your family, and he's like, oh yes, never mind, and he's like, get over there, girl, take the guy's money and leave him alone, okay? But anyway. It's kind of cute little story, but I have a piece of pottery. I don't know if I should say this on you. I'm going to say it anyway. There was a kid that was selling pottery because they didn't have any control over the site anymore. So people were just going in there and picking things up for themselves and making whatever money they could. And the kid comes over and shows me a piece of pottery about that big. And it's got some relief on there. You can see you can tell it's really old. And I said, I'll give you $1 for it. And he goes, no, $5. I'm like, no, how about $2? And he goes, no, $5. And I said, good night. This guy's driving hard. How about $4? He goes, no, $5. And I'm like, okay, got it. So it's sitting in my cabinet out there. It's probably worth quite a bit more than that. But anyway, it's people dug this stuff up, and they dug it up for a reason. They wanted to know what the ancient past taught or would tell them. And if you go and this is what we were discussing on Sunday. Remember Kent Hovind?
I tried to find this on the time slot you mentioned, and I couldn't find it.
It's the 40. I put 1 hour 40 minutes. It's the 40-minute time spot.
Oh, okay.
Not 1 hour. I don't know why I put 1 hour 40 minutes. It's the 40-minute time spot. But these are the dragons that Hovind was talking about. But this is 3,000, 2,500 years old, for crying out loud. And it's still sitting over there in the sands of Babylon. And then Nineveh, which is up by Mosul, which I spent some time up there. You had these statues, which are from the Assyrian Empire, and Sargon II, who is the father of a guy by the name of Sennacherib. And if you remember Sennacherib was the one that laid siege to Jerusalem and King Hezekiah. And this is where he lost his entire army. And this is Sennacherib's palace that they have unearthed. They've dug this up. This is an actual archaeological dig in Nineveh. It's right next to Jonah's tomb. And if you get down in there, you can see where they have these carvings into the walls of this structure that are, these are 2,800 years old, for crying out loud.
Wow.
Okay, so the reason why I did that, I just wanted to point out the fact that I wanted to show something else. I wonder if I could get, is this still up? Where did it go? Yeah, I still got it here. Let me do this. Let me drag this over. We went for a walk when we were in Jerusalem, the wife and I, to Hezekiah's tunnel. So let me show this again. Okay, so this is Hezekiah's tunnel, and we walked right through. Whoa. Can you guys hear that?
Yes.
You can hear that? Okay, is it too loud? Turn the volume down. I'm sorry. But we're
No,
walking down steps.
Yeah.
We're walking down these steps, and this tunnel takes you down to where they have a stream going through Jerusalem. This is how Jerusalem held out so long, is because they had water. And we walk in this water, and it takes you out to the pool of Siloam.
Wow.
The water's cold, by the way.
I don't want it to be warm and not underground. Be worried about hell being right underneath.
Pitch black. You could not see anything. One thing that was really cool when we were walking through here, the guy that was the tour leader, he had everybody turn off their lights. We had all flashlights and such. And it's just pitch black. You can't see anything. And we started singing "Our God is an Awesome God." It was just awesome. It really was. Oops, why isn't the sound coming back on? There we go. But as you can see, the water was anywhere from maybe ankle deep all the way up to right above the knees. But anyway, okay, here's the point that I'm trying to make. Let me go ahead and pause this. Whoops. Let me pause this. Okay, the point I'm trying to make here is that everybody, to include Jerusalem, and notice how I tied in known history, where you have, let me see if I did that here. Did I have that in here? Okay, so you have known history. Notice this. You have known history from a guy by the name of Sennacherib. Sennacherib is a historical figure. Why? Because they have dug up his castle, his palace in Nineveh, which is Mosul, Iraq. He plays this character that is talked about in First Kings, I believe it is. It's in the Book of Kings, where he is attacking and laying siege to Jerusalem. You have King Hezekiah having a tunnel built to have this, knowing that this attack is coming, that is still there today, where you can actually walk through it. It takes you to the Pool of Siloam, which is a known biblical place in the New Testament. So here you can clearly see that inside Jerusalem and outside Jerusalem, we have archaeological evidence that contributes to the credibility of the Bible. And that's the main point I'm trying to make here. We can clearly see that every civilization wants to go ahead and unearth their history. It's just you want to know these things, because what does that do? That lends credibility to the veracity, number one, of your history, but number two, to show what a great nation you truly are. Look how long we've been around. Look how long we've had these things. But there's one religion that doesn't do that for some reason. And I'll give you a guess which one it is. But what I want to do is I want to show you what I did on a quick Google search. I did a quick Google search. And what I did here, hold on, let's put this up here, is I Notice what I searched for: archaeological evidence for Jerusalem. So here you have the first hit is this thing that talks about how the wall, one of the Jerusalem's wall, is dated to 586 BC and the siege of Nebuchadnezzar and the carrying off of the southern kingdom into the Babylonian captivity. And if you look at some of these other ones, archaeologists find evidence for biblical siege of Jerusalem. Notice it says evidence. More evidence for Babylonian destruction, 2,600-year-old. Archaeologists, first Jerusalem evidence of quake. Surviving evidence of the second temple is there. And Dominic was here a couple weeks ago, and he talked about a wet sift that they went through. And look at, you have the evidence about the destruction, and this is readily available. The 3 sieges of Jerusalem. I mean, this is all available for anybody who wants to look. It's right there. And when you look at this, as I mentioned before, I was supposed to watch it then. You can see it, that people can actually go there, take pictures of it, touch it, walk in it, and know that the Bible is true, or that at least those stories that are being told in the Bible about those specific events have some type of evidentiary value behind them. It isn't something that, we just made up. And, we said that, that we lived in the pink kingdom surrounded by white clouds and in an elevation of 15 million feet for our religion. And it's not only written about in our theological literature, but it's also written in secular historical literature. Let's take a look. You guys want to take a look and see what, when I do the same search and I remove Jerusalem and put Mecca, do you guys want to see what that looks like? Who wants to see what that looks like?
Yeah, let's go for it.
I do.
Man, you're going to get so many hits that it's going to blow your mind.
My what?
You're going to get so many hits for archaeological and historical evidence of Mecca.
Likes.
You're going to just lose your cookies.
Yeah.
Make sure you put that in your description and in your keywords. Evidence for Mecca.
Oh, okay. Oh, when I do the tags or okay, yeah. I went to try to do that earlier in the show. Tried to log on to YouTube and it wouldn't let me on for some reason. Maybe my account's been.
I think you have to wait when we schedule live shows to do the keywords afterwards. At least that's I've had to do that.
All right, I'll pop them in when I get done. Okay, I want to jump over to BTR. No, okay. We're getting over 1,000 hits or downloads a week, or over 500 per show.
We're getting an average of 600 a show, right now.
Is it?
600 a show.
Where is that coming from? They've removed the filters or something, or did you have something to do with
my own thoughts. I'll tell you offline.
Okay, all right, we'll keep it on the download. All right, so let's go take a look and see what they came up with when we looked for archaeological evidence for Mecca. Now look at here, Saudi experts set to uncover secrets of ancient trail to Mecca. I feel like I'm for Muhammad, not to Mecca. Second one, there is no archaeological evidence that suggests Mecca is an ancient town that existed before the Christian era, or it didn't exist before. Okay, glimpse into the archaeological history of Mecca has been wiped out. Saudi. Okay, this is where is the? Okay, so this is from that article. It says Saudi Arabia's hidden history will still be waiting to be discovered underneath the sands. The secrets of one ancient trail are being uncovered with the help of archaeological. What does it say?
Archaeologists, one rock at a time.
Okay, one rock at a time. There we go. Okay, the Zubidibidi Yabadabadu Trail. In the Kufi pilgrimage route. Okay, notice this is the pilgrimage route. A pilgrimage to where? Mecca? Okay, do we have any evidence that there was a pilgrimage in Mecca prior to the 7th century? And the quick answer is no.
No.
Okay, So look at this. In addition to rock engravings that date back 10,000 years, notice they have rock engravings that date back to 10,000 years, burial mounds, wells, rock statues, pottery, glass, minerals, currencies, all on this trail to Mecca. Notice that there's nothing in Mecca.
Well, wait a minute. Wait a minute. To be fair, to be fair, yeah, to be fair, does it say? It says to Mecca. Does that mean like it's in direction toward Mecca?
This is a road that runs north of Mecca all the way to Babylon. So
North of Mecca. Road. So it's not going to Mecca, right? So that's a lie right there.
It's a route
to Mecca.
Supposed to be used between Mecca and Babylon is what it's.
That's what we call disinformation.
yeah. Because if that trail is, what did you say? South of Mecca or whatever. What did you say? You said something. Yeah, right. Yeah. Okay, that's going north of Mecca. But it's not coming from the north to the south toward Mecca.
Well, it went both ways.
Is that?
It was
supposedly. It goes
supposedly, but it's a trail that was supposed to go from Babylon to Mecca and then back up. So it's like all roads. They go. You can go either way on a road. So it doesn't have to be. But the fact is now here's the evidence right here. Look at this rock inscription and what it says. Notice when it's dated. A recent discovered rock inscription from the Taif dated 78 AH. So 78 years after, like 700 AD. We're in the 7th century. Connie, you're in a windstorm.
I know.
I think that was after. Oh, it was Herodias. I think it is. That's one of the discussions.
Yeah, so, what's that now? Say that, Paul.
I think that discussion about that coin it's not actually after Hijra, that it actually may be a reference to Herodias.
Which coin is that?
That one that was mentioned there with the 78 AH. I've actually read documents on that. Archaeological documents. This is this rock face here where it's hold on.
Oh, okay. It's this rock face.
I've heard it mentioned. Okay, maybe I'm wrong. Okay, I'm thinking about a coin.
But the problem is that this is not in Mecca. This is outside of Mecca. And it could go anywhere. You can make the argument that it's going anywhere. Look at, but this is what does it say? Did it even say what it says?
It still could be a reference to Herodias.
Okay, but it says it mentions the Al Masjid Al Haram, a likely reference to the Kaaba. Okay, so 78 AD or 78 AH, 78 years after Hijra, puts you in the 7th century. Is your first evidence for anything that mentions Mecca? Okay, fine. Where is the evidence for Mecca, though?
Yeah. Where is it?
Problem. That's the problem. Why aren't they doing archaeology there?
And no, we got to cement it over.
Well, hold on. I got plenty of pictures of that coming up. Okay, I'm on page 22. Okay. So let's look at some of the other sites that come up on the first page of a Google search here. Archaeological evidence for Mecca. Ancient sites of the Islamic world are being destroyed. So it doesn't think about how there's archaeological evidence for Mecca. It's just talking about how the archaeological evidence is being destroyed. Well, how do we know it's being destroyed?
Wow.
Well, we don't know it's being destroyed because we don't know if it's there to begin with. Why don't we know it's there to begin with? Because it's being destroyed. Archaeology in the early history of Islam, the first 70 years, Muslims was not Mecca, B site in northwestern Arabia. I went to, I think that was it. And all it was this laundry list it was like a bibliography. I think that's what I went there.
Well, JSTOR, anyway. That's not a surprise.
Okay. And let's see. Survey mapping, nothing. There's no archaeological evidence as just Mecca is an ancient town. So here's an article about archaeological heartbreak. How precious ancient sites of the Islamic world are being destroyed. Well, why are they being destroyed? Because you're building an entire city on top of them. You're cementing over them. Let's see, the Kaaba has been encircled. Why is it being encircled? It used to be encircled by those porticos. They tore those down in 2014 to build the walkway going through the mountains of Safa and Marwa. But look at all the places where they've cemented over. All these sites, all these places are recently built. I mean, here's the walkway between Safa and Marwa. Here's the Kaaba. All of these places around here. Over here is like where the Prophet Muhammad's birthplace was supposed to be, or Khadijah's grave is supposed to be. One of the two. I can't remember how it goes. But they're all cemented over. There's nothing there.
Okay, there's your marker. Can you make it red like you did last time? Because I couldn't see where you were saying Safra and Mara.
The only way I could do it red is if I was on a PowerPoint. I'm not on a PowerPoint.
Yeah, I see. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. Hey, can you guys hear me?
Loser.
Can you guys hear me?
Brad.
Yeah,
Brad.
Go ahead, Brad.
So, just going to quickly say, do you know that you were talking about the graves? Do you know that they, on one of those graves, they put it's above a bathroom, according to the Shia? They actually paved over the graves and they put a toilet on top of it. I'm not making that up. I'm 100% serious on that.
Whose grave?
I forgot which one. It's not Muhammad's. I think it might be Aisha's. Yeah, probably.
Hussein has a hot mic.
What's that?
Hussein has a hot mic. It's Hussein, I think. It's Hussein.
Let me mute him. Okay, I muted him. No, Brad still has. Brad's in a place.
Yeah, I'm waiting for my train. So, but if you guys can hear me,
make sure nobody has a gun for crying out loud.
I know, I saw that, dude. What the hell, dude? I'm gonna have to start, packing now, man. This is scary now. But I just wanted to share that bit of information that the Shia say that Aisha's grave now has a toilet on top of it. So.
Yeah. Well, when we were looking, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and mute you because that's just killing my ear. Thank you. Okay.
Thank you.
Turn this down. It's hurting my ears. Okay, so the bottom line is that you have a culture group of people that are not interested at all at preserving their history. They're not interested in all of using evidence to demonstrate the veracity of their history.
Well, the question is, are they not interested, or are they trying to
cover it up,
learning the true history?
Yeah, cover up.
Exactly the point. That's exactly the point. Any culture, I don't care which one, you would be looking for all kinds of things to demonstrate the historicity. There's that word for you, Paul. The historicity of your culture, of your religion. Every time somebody finds something in Jerusalem that because they just found. What was that? There was a video Rad had put out a curse, one of those curse scrolls. One of the
Ebal Mountain. The Ebal Mountain.
Right. They went back in and they did some wet sifting and they found one of these curse scrolls that matches Deuteronomy. This is 3,000 years old, guys. That is about as exciting as you could possibly get. Here you have evidence directly linking to Deuteronomy. I mean, please. I mean, you can't help but if you're a historian and you have no life like I do, I mean, that you get excited about stuff like that. And you love reading about stuff like that because that lends more credibility to the biblical narratives. It's been corrupted. We don't know. That's wrong. That's somebody changed it. Shut your pie hole. Every time somebody turns over and makes a discovery in the Holy Land, it just provides more proof that the Bible is right. And some of these chronologies that some of these people come up with are wrong. Okay, so that's all I had on that. I thought I was going to go longer on that, but I guess it didn't take
Eric.
all that long. Yes, sir.
Hey, Eric. I just want to say that I kind of see a strategy in them building over all these alleged holy sites because what happens is then when they do want to, somebody does ask about archaeological evidence, you say, oh, these idiots went and built over it. And so we'll never know the fact that there was nothing there. So anyway, that's just a theory.
Do you think that they were? I mean, did you guys actually? Okay, and I cannot accept
it's
the
deliberate.
fact that people think that the rest of the world is that dumb.
Yeah, they are.
Who's got a hot mic again? Was that okay? Because by building over this, you're destroying evidence for your religion. You would want to edify the flock, to strengthen people's faith, show evidence for archaeological evidence. I would hope.
But if there is no evidence, or the evidence proves otherwise, it's better to build over it and then just say the idiots. Look what the idiot king. It's that idiot king did that, and so we'll never know now. So
right.
I think it's a lot easier to look at it and say you're building over something to keep us. I mean, the conclusions are rather easy. I mean, you most cultures, I'd say, in the modern world, if you dig something up and you discover fossils, you discover pottery that's old or something, most governments now protect those sites. Unless you're in an Islamic culture, well, that's kind of interesting. It's only the cultures that I know. The only cultures that I know of where they don't protect what's old would be Islamic cultures, and
right.
That's the
here's their excuse. Let me tell you, here's their excuse. Idolatry. This is why they went in and destroyed all of that stuff that I was showing you from Nineveh. They went in and destroyed all of that. The ISIS went in and destroyed that. They went in and destroyed the tomb of Jonah. They went in there and destroyed all of that. Why? Because
they tried to attack the tomb of Joseph this week. Again.
In Israel?
Yes.
Really?
What? Wow. That's very telling.
Isn't that in Nablus or someplace where it's in the West Bank?
It was in the Patriarch. Israel. I've got two.
The Joseph?
Yeah. Where's that?
Yeah, Joseph is in Nablus.
Nablus,
there we go. Okay, Nablus.
Yeah, it's right next to Nablus. It's Shechem in the Hebrew, and it's Nablus now.
It's a place where Steve got beat up again. No, I'm just kidding. Poor baby.
No. Only,
did you get beat up over there,
Steve? At Rebecca's tomb, not Joseph.
Oh man.
At Rebecca's tomb, not Joseph.
Jeez.
Rachel's tomb in Bethlehem.
Wow. Rachel.
Well, I think you guys are absolutely right. You either the problem is that you don't have any archaeological evidence for a 7th century Mecca. So what do? You cover it up, and this is I honestly believe this is exactly what they're doing. They've had 14 centuries. Well, the dating of the religion is supposed to go back to 14th century. I'm going to go ahead and mute him. But they've had, over what has it been? Since they've been getting all these petrodollars, for crying out loud, they've had over almost a century now of 50 years anyway, of getting all of this money from the West. So they've had the money to go in and excavate this, to demonstrate that these things that are supposedly happened in the Quran or the Hadith are true, but they don't. And it isn't just Mecca itself that is showing that this isn't true. It's the Qiblas. We've talked extensively about the several different Qiblas that were unearthed from looking at ancient mosques in the 7th century, the 6th and the 7th century, and none of them point towards Mecca. So if they're not pointing towards Mecca, then you have a second part of this equation. Okay, number one, we don't have any archaeological evidence for Mecca, and any archaeological evidence that we did have, would have had, should have had, has been cemented over. Number two, now we have evidence that it's not Mecca. Why? Because these earliest Qiblas do not point towards Mecca. So here you have two essential archaeological bits of data that are exceedingly strong. And then if you get in the Quran itself, it mentions Mecca just one time. One time. Doesn't mention Jerusalem at all, but it mentions the places like Thamud, which is way up north, Ad, which is way up north. So it mentions other places, 30 and 40. I have the book back here.
But you know what? You know what though, Eric? I'm no longer giving them that. I don't give them that it's mentioned once because it doesn't say Mecca. It says Becca. Becca is not Mecca. B is not M. I don't believe it's Mecca. We give them that. We allow them that, but I don't allow them anymore. It doesn't say Mecca. It says Becca.
Okay,
Preach it, Steve. Let them know. Tell them what's up.
So
Well, isn't there two places? Isn't there two places that one does say Becca and the other one?
Valley of Becca. The Valley of Becca is mentioned once. Medina
But is it is it B for sure in the Arabic?
Hold on.
Yeah,
Hold on. Okay. So 396. It says the Valley of Becca, and then in 4824 it says the Valley.
That's English.
Of Becca.
Okay, but that's English. Don't read the English. You got to read. Let Steve read when he can. Let Steve read it in Arabic and make sure that it's not an M. Yeah, Steve.
Yeah.
When you can, I know he's driving right now, but do it really big so he can glance.
Where is it again?
4824.
Boy,
Bring it up, right?
Yeah, bring it up. If you could show me the script. So is it in there twice? Are you saying it's in there twice?
Yeah, I think there's one that could have said Mecca, and then one says Becca. But I'll be fine to be stand corrected on that.
Here you go, Steve.
I just don't want to give him the best anymore.
Zoom it in for him because he's driving.
It's on your screen, Steve.
Let me look. Okay, if you can, I'm pulling over right now, so I'll be. If you can you make it bigger? Just because I'm 100 years old and
4824.
I know what it's like.
Okay. All right, I can see it now. Let me see. Okay, I'm pulling over right now. Okay. Okay. I'm gonna need my glasses anyway. I'm an old man now.
Join the rest of it.
وهو الذي كف أيديهم عنكم وأيديكم عنهم بطن Mecca. Yeah, it does say Mecca. It does. It's in the stomach of Mecca, like in the heart of Mecca. Min ba'ad in. Okay, so that one does say Mecca. Okay, but the other one is Becca. So
yes, sir. It's Becca.
Yeah.
So anyway, okay. Well, they got it one.
That's one. Yeah, one time. Woohoo! So Connie now. Woo-hoo. They got one time. All right. What do you got? But even with that, though, I mean, if you're only gonna, hold on. What are we doing here? Come on. Here we go. Even if you are, there we go. Even if you are, they mention it one time in their entire holy book. Now they say the Masjid al-Haram. How many times does
that should tell us that there's no priority given to that Mecca is not important. I mean that just if you mention something once, it's a passing interest. It's not important. What is mentioned more is what we should be looking at, not what Muhammad thinks is important. Because if the Quran is inspired or the word of Allah, it's unimportant to Allah. That's for sure.
Allah.
If you look at the number of mentions, okay, it says here. This is from again. I'm going to plug Dan Gibson's Quranic Geography. This thing's a goldmine, treasure trove of information. If you look at the Gospel of Luke,
I love Dan Gibson.
27,000 words. 27,000 words. It mentions 31 different locations at 110 different times. The Quran has 149,000 words compared to 27,000, and mentions only 9 locations, 65 times.
How many words does the Quran have, Eric?
149,450.
Where'd you get that? I guarantee
No,
you.
no.
I guarantee you, it's less than 80,000.
Right.
It's like 77,700 and something. So round it up to 80,000.
69, yeah.
It's one.
Yeah.
It's like one tenth the size of the whole Bible.
Bible.
With the 66 books. Now, here's the question: does anybody know if there's like a grave for Muhammad?
Well, they stuck him in the wall there. They stuck him in the wall there in Medina.
Oh, they
where
did.
they go and cry and touch. Yeah, haven't you seen it?
No,
it's got a big. Yeah, it's a gold. It's gold plated. It's got a big round circle on it to let you know. Supposedly, there's Muhammad buried there.
Well, see,
and then
listen, we could put this to an end. Let's open up that baby. Let's see what Muhammad looks like.
That's what Al-Fadi says. He says, I don't think there's nobody in there.
Muhammad
That's Al-Fadi.
100% the same way that he was in the late 7th century. He should be intact
and preserved, right?
But you guys, there's a real big problem, and this is in many of the hadith, and that is even before they buried him, he stunk so bad they were just going to bury him in the whole house. Bury the whole house with him, because he smelled so bad. So I'm afraid to open that thing up, man. That could be.
Hey, Steve, I also read that there's somewhere between 70 and 300 prophets that are buried around the Kaaba. Has anybody found any?
Well,
Wonder if
it
there's
doesn't sound like there's anything there.
We're supposed to be praying.
Oh, well, if they were
But you know what? But you know what? That's a great way to make money, though. That's a great way to make money. You can just have your lemonade stand right on top of the grave of one of the prophets.
Okay, no. So if they are buried there, they're like it's been paved over, dude. Okay, just saying.
So you could actually go there, purchase a cement block, and say, "This is where Prophet so and so is buried."
Yeah, they're really fixated. They're really fixated. Oh, go ahead, Darcy. Darcy wants to say something. I'll wait on Darcy.
Yeah, you do know that if it's not a short, fat dwarf, it's not Muhammad.
Yeah, they describe him like that. Yeah, and they're so fixed. What's that, John?
He's got to be white.
Yeah. And have you noticed about Islamic people? They're so fixated on graves.
Yeah, well, the bones are white.
Hey, I just posted a link to supposedly the graves of the prophets that are in the Masjid al-Haram. I'd like to go and take a look at one of them. Hey, we don't even need to exhume them. We have the technology where we can just roll over and do like a 3D X-ray. I forgot what those things are called, but yeah, we can see, are they intact or are they just a pile of bones? Hey, Steve, here's another one for you. Steve, did Allah send just one prophet to each nation? Is that correct? No, it looks like he stepped out of the car.
He's invisible.
He's out of his car. He went to get
the invisible man.
It's been kind of like rolling around my brain as to, is it one prophet per nation?
Well, it does say that prophets been sent to every nation, and there's, what is it, 124,000.
Now, this excuse me, does it say prophets, or to every nation we sent a prophet or a messenger? Hold on a second, I hear my dog doing something.
There goes.
Hey,
okay, I'm just checking
DL's
the
in the
number of
house.
mentions here. Yeah, DL, hello, sir. Welcome to the show. Let's see.
Shalom, everybody.
Oh, real quick, I got an update. They've identified the shooter. Just to let y'all know, they have identified the shooter.
Who is it?
Clearly a mega hat wearing white supremacist. Obviously, no, they've identified the shooter. That's all I know. That's all.
He's a MAGA hat wearing white supremacist.
And Christian.
No.
Trying to like cover his tracks.
And a gun nut. And a lawful gun owner. Yeah, no, it's going to be the complete opposite of all that.
Shooter identified Brooklyn subway shooting suspect identified using credit card as New York manhunt continues.
Idiot. When I do my mass shooting, there's going to be no credit card trail. Just letting y'all know.
I'm like, I got out of the DWC race and you're like, wow.
Oh, sorry to interrupt the flow, but I just want to let you guys. Sorry to interrupt the flow, but I just want to let you all know he has been identified, which I find it kind of funny because that's all it says. He has been identified, but they don't give any other information. So that clearly tells you something.
He had 2 extended ammo magazines and his Glock jam. He doesn't know how to take care of a gun is the other thing.
Well, that sounds. Oh, speaking of which, Eric, real quick, can you get me one of those little? Not get me one. Can you get one of those little devices that turns the Glock into an automatic? You're like, you can get that, right? It turns the
Hey,
Glock.
Brad, you got way too much background noise. I cannot understand what you're saying.
Oh, sorry. Never mind. I'm talking to you.
What does he want me to get? Okay, I'm going to mute him, and then you guys tell me what he said.
Don't go there.
Yeah. Hey,
get you in trouble.
I thought I read
Okay.
the guy used a 38.
Well,
Who
I've
uses
heard that
38 in a
too.
mass
So it's the first
shooting?
time you're talking about a Glock. We're talking about a 9mm.
Right. Well, or you could also get it in a
Glocks, I got a 40.
Maybe that's why it
They come in
jammed.
different
That you were
calibers.
using the wrong bullets to begin with.
trying to shoot a 38 out of a Glock.
Oh boy.
Well, he shot 10 people, but 28 were injured. So go figure.
Say what? Oh, okay.
He shot 10 people, but 28 have been injured. So yeah,
No, because
that, I can see that.
When he started shooting people, people started running and they fell over each other. Yeah.
Right.
That's how I die. I wouldn't get shot and crushed because I couldn't get out of the way. And so,
Now, was this a gun-free zone?
obviously, New York City.
Oh, yeah. Nobody was there to shoot back.
Okay, let's see here. And New York City's shooter's Philly rented U-Haul is found abandoned on Brooklyn Highway, 5 miles from where he shot 10 strap hangers. Gunman was on FBI's terrorist radar until 2019. Whoa.
Wow. Wow.
False flag. They let him loose. They worked with him. They even supplied him the ammo.
See, he was on FBI's terrorist radar in New Mexico until 2019, according to report, and was cleared after multiple interviews. Oh, well. Are you a terrorist? No, I'm not a terrorist at all.
No habla
okay, well, there you
inglés.
go. Yeah, I could see how that
Yeah,
works
how
out.
idiotic. And
He has
then
not been
he
public identified. He on the loose. Let's see. Investigators believe they know who he is, having identified the subjects after finding a credit card at the. Okay. Finding a credit card at the scene and was also used to rent the U-Haul cargo van. Does that pass the sniff test?
Well, there's a lot of.
Let me commit a mass shooting here and then drop my credit card so conveniently, the same one that I used to rent this van.
This guy apparently brought devices too. There's a lot of. Yeah. I mean, I can't imagine people just watching this guy bring several devices and drop them all over either. I mean, I think there had to be more than one person involved, because if you're in New York City, you see somebody dropping devices here and there, you're going to report it. So there had to be more than.
Right.
Now, when you say dropping devices, what do you mean?
Well, they said there was multiple devices located there that they thought were. That's one of the things that was originally stated, that they believe that there were multiple devices there.
Like packages? Or he's using a gun and
devices.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Well,
there's no way you could do that in a subway without being seen.
Well,
Hey,
see,
I
this,
also heard
okay,
that
we
all
were
the
just
cameras were out.
that's the point I was going to make. The cameras, the entire camera system in that station did not work. How does that happen?
That's rather
How
convenient.
does yeah,
He was a
exactly.
hacker. He was a
That
hacker
sounds-
too. He
What
hacked
do you
the
mean he was a
system.
hacker?
Yeah,
Well,
he
it
hacked
can't
the
be because
system.
it
He
says
turned them
pictures and
off.
clips from the scene showed people tending to. Okay, so that's people. There's no, I didn't catch that. Yeah, the scene there. All right.
I'm telling you, it's a
Yeah,
false
any
flag.
footage you see there, that's all that's
Cell
all
phone
cell
footage.
phone. Yeah, that's cell phone footage there. That's not CCTV
Scary.
stuff. That's yeah. Yeah. And this, and I could just hear it, you can just hear the same mantra now. We need to enact tougher gun laws. I mean, this is New York City, for Pete's sake. I mean,
Isn't
who
Biden
has tougher gun laws in New York City? And then
or
you're going to have
California?
people screaming for limited high capacity magazines. And
Isn't Biden doing away with
Biden
ghost
just did
guns?
that. He just was screaming for he wanted to stop people from having automatic weapons again.
Yeah, you don't need an automatic weapon.
This
Nobody
man
owns
truly has
automatic weapons
dementia.
anymore. He does. Did you see? Look what happened to him today. Hold on, let me bring this up here. This is okay.
He did another flubber
Okay, let me bring this up.
where he was talking about prostitutes.
Yeah, that's
Oh, yeah.
we were just getting kind of used to that, but look what happens to him. He got a gift from heaven. Hold on. Let me see if I can play this. And he's here, of course. I didn't know he was in state. Look at that. During a speech in Menlo, a bird pooped on him.
Hey, that's supposed to be good luck.
Well,
Right.
not during the show, not during whatever you're doing, and he probably didn't even know it.
See here,
That's
during-
even worse.
That's what my mom used to tell me. Hey, if a bird poops on you, it's good luck. You're
Yeah.
going to have money. I got pooped a couple times, no money.
Come on. Why does this thing take I get so sick of some of these websites. They just so bogged down with doggone advertising. I get it. You got to make money for Pete's sake.
Some of these states are bringing back the mask, and they're pumping up the
New York State's releasing their requirement of masks in medical facilities this week.
I have a feeling they're going to
New York State is doing what?
push mail-in ballots again, because they're going to get shellacked. At least I hope they get shellacked.
Yeah, they have to stop their insanity in order to prevent themselves from getting shellacked. But once they get it back, if they're still elected in, they'll just be just as worse.
I think that what was it? Alabama said no mail-ins, no absentees going to just about anybody. So they're cracking down. So we'll see.
Good. I wish
Well, you have to allow absentee ballots you have to allow that for military. I mean, because I voted quite a few times absentee.
Oh, yeah, military I think would be the exception to the rule. I mean, and then there are people who are shut-ins, but they have to absentee ballots must be requested. That's where in New York State, I actually called them back when I received a ballot. I says, I didn't request it. This is illegal. And what you're doing. No, we they said, no, we made a rule saying they could do it. I said, that's illegal. You did not follow the law.
Wow.
Well, this is where the state, because the Constitution clearly states that state legislatures are the only ones that have the authority to enact voting laws. It's not the governor. The governor has no authority to change it, and the state Supreme Courts do not have the authority to change those laws either under any circumstances. So when you have these states enacting outside of their legislature absentee voters, mailing them out to people and mass.
All illegal acts.
It's
in every
illegal.
state.
That
In every state,
every single electoral vote from that state should be voided because of that, the illegality that was involved in that.
Absolutely.
But it's never going to happen. Why? Because, well, we got Bite Me as our president who got pooped on today. How apropos. How poetic justice at its best. Here in the Hawkeye state of all places, too. Okay, does anybody have anything else to add today? I'm kind of short.
I think the Great Commission just wrote a very interesting comment. I know it's been up there a little while. Can you put that up? How do you defend?
Okay, let me get there. I'm lagging for some reason.
The sing a new song. It's supposed to be a new law. I've dealt with that one. Yeah.
Go ahead. I'd love to hear.
How do you defend claimed Isaiah 42:10? Sing a new song. That new song is a new law, being Sharia.
Songs are not laws.
No.
Well, it is if you're a Muslim, but they also say 42:13. It's about a prophet that's going to come like a mighty man of war.
The Lord, the Lord's going to come. Yahweh's going to come.
That's the part that they forget that it's
they
Yahweh
forget
is going to come, right?
But you know that in Isaiah 42. It talks about, if you keep on reading that, it talks about salvation. So the new song is salvation. And the Muslims want to say, oh, that's the Arabic language.
Psalm 42 only goes to verse 11. So
what?
All right.
Okay, maybe it's a psalm that says sing a new song. Yeah, sing a new song unto the Lord. And if you just read that psalm, I think it's a couple psalms. And it's talking about salvation. That's the new song. That's Jesus. That's the salvation coming. That's the new song, like the good news.
Psalm 42:10. As with a sword in my bones, my enemies reproach me, while they say daily unto me, where is your God? Why are you cast down, O my soul, and why are you disquieted within me? This is verse 11. Hope you in God, for I shall yet praise him, who is the health of my countenance and my God. Sing a new song, that's Psalm 100. So
okay, it also talks about Isaiah 42 also talks about
we're talking about Isaiah. I'm sorry,
Kedar,
I thought it was Psalm. I'm sorry.
No, Isaiah and Kedar and Selah, yeah.
Isaiah 42. I was looking at Psalms. I'm sorry.
They use servant, Selah, Kedar, song. But here's the thing: if you do a search of the Bible for sing a new song, you're going to get at least 6 hits.
Yes.
Psalms 96, Psalms 33.
Okay, Isaiah 42:10. Sing unto the Lord a new song and his praise. So we're talking about praise. You can't stop with sing a new song. And his praise. So we're talking singing is a form of praise.
Yeah.
Okay. And from the end of the earth that you that go down to the sea and all that, we're talking about praise. There's no question. Verse 13, the Lord shall go forth as a mighty man. He shall stir up jealousy like a man of war. He shall cry, yea, roar. He shall prevail against his enemies. And who is that talking about? In the Quran, they talk about Isa being the Messiah. Is this a prophecy of the mighty Messiah? Absolutely.
Yeah, they just don't understand.
Thank you for that question.
Yeah, and what did the Messiah give us? Salvation.
What did Muhammad give us? Headaches.
Destruction.
War. He gave us war and destruction.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
He was the robber. He was the robber baron who was a pervert, and that's the nicest word I can say about his proclivities, if that's the right terminology. He was a pervert, and he didn't just like little girls. He liked men. He liked little boys. We know this from reading the Quran and the Hadiths. And if you want to argue that, I suggest you read the Quran and the Hadith.
There was a guy that was doing a a stand-up comedy routine, and he was talking about pedophilia and the word pedophile. And he's saying, he goes, a lot of people, when you say they would be interested in young little girls or something, you'd call somebody like that the pedophile. But then he said, there are other actual different variances of this. There are something like an edophile is somebody who likes girls who have just initially entered puberty but yet are not full women. And then there are those girls who have finished puberty and are yet very young. So those would be called like a canophile or something like that. But then he goes, this is what's so funny. He goes, but anybody that would bring that up, then they would think that you were a pedophile for even knowing those other definitions of what a pedophile or pedophile. There are definitely other variants within pedophilia. So
that's called education. Okay, Psalms 96, 1 and 2. Sing a new song unto the Lord. Let the whole earth sing to the Lord. Number 2, sing to the Lord. Bless his name. Proclaim his salvation from day to day.
And this is what we call, this is what it comes down to. We learn that Scripture interprets Scripture. It's time for people to grasp that. When you talk with a Muslim, we have to get this across. The Bible is supposed to be the authority for interpreting the Bible. I had someone make a comment, well, does that mean all Scripture is interpreted literally? No, it doesn't. It's a simple answer. Scripture interprets Scripture. If it's an allegory, you're probably going to, or a parable, which is a story, you're probably going to find Scripture that interprets this. That's how it works. Scripture, not probably, you will. You will. And it's the cool thing. Just like we're just the passage, singing a new song unto the Lord. There's several passages of this. And why? It's why we know it's like today's message that I sent out was about I had a person ask a question. How did I know Jesus was maybe a year to 2 years old by the time Herod decided to kill off when Herod was deciding to kill off all of the kids 2 years and old and younger? Well, we know that Mary and Joseph presented Jesus at the temple of Jerusalem when she had 33 days, bare minimum, 33 days after she has to go through this cleansing period after birth.
Right.
And so that's 33 days later. So they've already left Bethlehem. You can't tell me they're going to hang around.
Right.
Okay. So they've gone and done this. We know that happens first. And then, they've been found. These people are from the East, these wise men. We don't know how many wise men. We just know they're wise men. J. Vernon McGee would say there could be 300. How many people does it take to cause an uproar in Jerusalem? And
I love J. Vernon McGee.
So I had a good laugh when I'm thinking about that. Can you imagine? I said, in my own thoughts, I still think it could be as small as 3. It just depends on how wildly dressed some people are. Are they flamboyant people? You could cause a scene in Jerusalem just being flamboyant. I could see that. But what kind of an entourage? Yeah. But again, Scripture interprets Scripture. We know that this is one of the things I'm going through Matthew. I think we're in Matthew 3, and if you just look at this, how Scripture, we find the prophecies. When you read the Gospels, you find these incredible amount of prophecies. This is why I'm loving going through Matthew right now. Anybody who's interested, you can just go to paulsutliff.com and you can go to down the bottom, and you can just send me a note there that you want to be on the devotional mailing list. I send one out every morning. And I look at it this way. It's pretty simple. I'm going through this, and it is Matthew just lays out so many prophecies, and it's sad that those who follow Islam know that Isa is the Messiah. But they don't know what the Messiah is, and they don't want to know. And that's problematic. You can ask a Muslim, is Isa the Messiah?
Well, according to Allah, Messiah is a name.
I know that. That's
not a title. Hey, Paul,
Yeah.
I got a good title for a room, maybe even on Clubhouse. It piggybacks off of your idea of your debate topic with Aladdin. And I typically don't do, Bible versus the Quran, but I thought I'll, open up a room called Bible versus Quran. Which one is detailed and explained?
Oh, I like that. That's pretty close to clear and mud.
Right.
For the other one.
I mean, I would debate that one because it's an easy win.
Yeah.
I wonder where he is tonight. I sent him the link to the show. He was so bad.
Well, he's not exactly brave.
Hey, he's probably perusing the. I told him to join Clubhouse.
My thoughts are, again, I make this comment a lot about Aladdin is his processing issue. It may take him a while to figure out you invited him.
He still lies. He still lies and says that he knows me for 6 years.
I sent it to his Skype. Excuse me. I sent it to his Skype account, and I would assume that he answers that. Maybe he has to wait for the sun. Maybe he has to wake up extra early. That's what I'm thinking.
Well,
he's going to wake up extra early for Ramadan so he could stuff himself. And then he would.
Well, no. He would be right now. He's in England, so we got 5 or 6 hours ahead. It's after dark, so
he's
be awake and partying.
He's not in England.
I thought he was in the Philippines.
No. Right. Yeah, he lives in the Philippines.
Yeah,
Philippines. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Oh, and he said he's from Palestine. He's a Palestinian.
Well, yeah, he is because Hussein says that too. He's Palestinian, but he lives, in the.
I just think he's just not a very bright guy and not capable of actually holding a debate.
I'm not sure why you would think that, Paul. That is just so wrong. You Islamophobe.
Well, you at least have to be able to process things.
Yeah.
How long did we spend trying to explain to him what a debate was?
I know.
We were over 30 minutes trying to explain what a debate was.
Yeah, he just did a video on Jay Smith, his latest one, in Red Judah. Yeah. So I had to post a little comment there. And remember that screenshot that I sent you where obviously Muhammad is infallible, guys. So Muhammad is infallible, and there's 2 lords. So I asked Aladdin, who's the other lord? I haven't gotten a reply.
Oh, I wonder why.
Oh, he says, I've been schooling you. I know you. And he said, I know what to do for 20 years, and I know you for 6 years. I'm like, dude, I've only been on Pal Talk for 3 years. You failed math again, didn't you?
Well, I'm still waiting for him to actually, remember he said that day that he had written several invites to me to debate, and there was nothing there. He doesn't understand basic things. Yeah. So that's.
Do you guys actually think? Do you actually believe that guys like that honestly believe to themselves when they say, well, I schooled this guy, and they talk trash. Yeah, they're going to talk trash.
Yeah.
Okay. That they actually believe that?
Even no, in his case,
they might be stupid enough to believe it. Who knows?
No, I think they actually convince themselves.
Right.
I would say Aladdin's case, I would say that him and many others, the only reason he goes to shows like those of that we represent on this network that we're part of, he goes there to get followers. He get his name out. Well, if we're discussing him, then he's something big. But what I keep saying is he's not worth your time.
The followers to follow him do what? I don't understand that. Why do you get people to follow you where you make a fool out of yourself every time you?
Well, that's the part he doesn't understand. I had a student, I'm sure you've had this at some point, Eric, where a student made a video and it pretty much went viral and the kid's all excited, but he doesn't understand. It's because he made a fool of himself. And you want to explain that you really should probably take that down because you've made a fool of yourself and they're laughing at you. It's not laughing with you.
Right.
And yeah.
And it's not the right kind of fame that you want. It's
Yes,
the wrong kind of fame.
I mean, we're talking about kids. I mean, where they're not adults, where they might not understand that, and this is where I think Aladdin's issues are. I think it's a processing issue. I think that's most of the issue with him. But my problem with Aladdin is I don't think he's capable of holding a debate. Do I think he actually believes he's capable? Well, if he was thinking that, he would probably have shown up today. If he could remember, if he could process
Sunday. I mean, he was in the chat. He was in the chat Sunday barking about something, and
yeah,
I didn't even.
I'm sure he's busy schooling somebody somewhere. Somewhere he's schooling somebody. I don't know who.
Maybe it's his own black dog.
Could be.
Well, I just, I feel bad for people like that because number one, the guy is spiritually lost.
Yes.
And then when you demonstrate to him and show him, with clear evidences and clear lines of philosophical thought and reasoning that his arguments are, specious or fallacious, and then he still comes back and says, "Well, I schooled you," and I feel terrible for people like that because this is kind of like your Forrest Gump scenario where he actually thinks he's a genius, but the fact is you're a blathering idiot, and everybody else around you is trying to tell you this, but yet you won't accept it.
Well, it's we could call it Kenny syndrome. You think you're a genius. You think you're a genius, you think you're all that, and you don't know, and you can't recognize that you're not all that. There are names for this. There are narcissistic personality disorder is one.
Just going right through my mind. Narcissist, yeah.
I've worked with NPD. It's very interesting.
That guy that keeps trying to get everybody banned on Facebook, Marshall Gregory. He says,
here's a test for these narcissists. Ready? You want to see if someone's a true narcissist? Give them a mirror and see if they can put it down. If they can't put it down, they have NPD. If you have to take the mirror away from them, they have NPD.
Well, I don't know.
Leave my mirror alone. Okay, leave my mirror alone.
They what? I didn't hear what you said, Darcy.
She's saying, "Leave my mirror alone."
Oh.
Bodybuilders have that problem.
Who does? Bodybuilders, you said?
Yes. The mirror is like the next best thing. Yeah, I should know.
Obviously.
That was my best friend.
I don't have that problem. I don't have that problem. I look in the mirror and I'm like, I got to walk away. Get away from me.
Oh, yes, in my heydays, yes, me and the mirror, we were inseparable.
Yeah, no.
Well, it's shocking when you first encounter someone with that. I mean, I actually had a mirror in my classroom, and this student who had NPD, was diagnosed with it, I actually could not get him to do anything unless I turned the mirror around so it faced the wall. And
what students do? You know what students do now? They'll turn the camera on their computers, and they'll sit there and primp their hair and
Yeah.
I'm like, God, turn the camera off. Let's go get the work done.
Yep.
Okay,
Simple
we're gonna call it a night, guys. I got 6:30 time. We've gone an hour and a half, which is normally the time we go. I just wanted to get this. I had this idea cooked up in my head earlier this week, and I was so proud of myself. Or late last week, I was so proud of myself. Hey, man, I got an idea for Tuesday's show already. And then Connie was lamenting the fact that I wasn't going to continue the young Earth creationist stuff, but but with that, there's so many different ways that you could run with that it's just impossible to cover. Just scratch the surface in one show. But what I
Part
wanted to do with
2,
that is
part 3, part 4, part
we
5.
can
Because I loved it. I really enjoyed
it's
that.
a good topic.
Well, we can. It's just there's just so much there, and when you start. But I think the main idea was to take that long period of time mantra of saying billions and millions of years and throw a wrench in it and just say, now hold up. And by showing that there is evidence for dinosaurs within just recently, when you start showing the blood evidence, for crying out loud, you show blood evidence from a Tyrannosaurus Rex, that should have people screaming, running to the hills to change the textbooks.
Oh
But
no,
it
you
didn't.
can't put that. You can't publish that.
No, exactly. And when they did publish it, they fired that Mark Armitage, that guy that found the Triceratops horn. He got fired from the laboratory in it was I don't know if it's UC Berkeley or I can't remember which.
But
Yeah, you did say Berkeley. You said Berkeley last
these
time.
are organizations
seem
that
like
can't
that was
handle this controversy. Or
Yeah, if it's
this
Berkeley, that's
opposite
very
opinion.
telling.
Yeah, and this is what UC Berkeley has a bad reputation for not allowing opposing opinions.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
liberal.
and almost, yes, it's very liberal. Geez, I learned that 20 years ago about them. And no, actually more. Yeah, so that's very telling.
I'm trying to find out because he got like he got a big 6-figure settlement out of the deal.
They lose. I mean,
here.
this is the sadness. There's going to be a few more lawsuits that direction. I'm waiting to see what happens with this. We're with the guy who got onto Twitter, Elon Musk, or however you say his name. He got onto Twitter, and he owns what a huge was it 20% or something like that? 10%?
Maybe not that high.
10%.
Okay, yes,
10%, and he could be he that buys him a position on the board pretty much, and they're scared he might change something. So now the discussion is, because he fought his position, he got that. Is there now a move to get rid of the board? Is Elon Musk making a larger move, or is he got friends making a larger move to do something with Twitter? And it's an interesting discussion out there right now. Twitter's a little scared.
He also said to delete, what was it? WhatsApp and Facebook Messenger. And let me tell you,
okay, I was wrong. Okay, I was wrong on the Berkeley thing. It was California State University Northridge is what it was.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Berkeley.
California. That's pretty telling too.
Yeah, I want to make sure I want to make sure that I'm right on here. I don't want to be putting up.
And I live in Midland, New York.
But he was in charge of the Microsoft lab there, so they booted him out. Can't be showing those pictures of the Philopodia and the cell. I mean, real dinosaur cells, for Pete's sake. 70 million years old. And you got to be that stupid to be a professor, I guess. Okay, guys, I'm going to call it a night. Thank you for coming. Maybe part 2 will be Sunday. I'll have to take a look. But Sunday is Easter.
yeah,
Oh, you don't have to do a show on Easter.
Yeah,
take a break. Enjoy your family.
Put up what you can do is put up replay one of your last shows that you think would be effective. That's what I would do. In my case,
Passover. Passover, not Ishtar. Jeez. Why are Christians still saying Easter?
I call it Resurrection
Ishtar.
Sunday. Resurrection
There you go.
Sunday.
Or Passover, which is a part of that too.
Okay.
Or first
well, I'm gonna
fruits.
call it-
First fruits.
I'm
well,
calling
Eric,
it
just maybe pre-record
Sunday.
and play.
Sunday.
I was
Okay.
that Darcy, what'd you say?
I said maybe pre-record a show and play it.
I could do that.
Oh, yeah. Play part 1 again.
Quit making sense.
That's what I was saying. You
No,
could,
make
you-
another show during sometime this week.
yeah, if you want
Oh,
to, we can all
geez.
do that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have a
mhm.
problem if you wanted to do that. But
Okay. Well, I'll take a look at it. I'll have something up there for Sunday. All right. God bless you. Y'all
Cool.
have a
Bless everybody.
great
God bless you.
Easter,
Okay, good night.
Passover, Sunday.
Resurrection
First
Sunday.
Day.
fruits. First fruits.
God bless
Resurrection.
everybody.
All right. God bless you.
Good night.
Good night.
See y'all then.